Audi has won a crash-shortened 2018 Liqui-Moly Bathurst 12-hour, denying Jamie Whincup back-to-back victories in the GT Sportscar Enduro. Racing a Mercedes, Whincup led the contingent of 11 supercars drivers and finished second to the factory WRT effort of Robin Frains, Stuart Leonard and Dries Vanthoor. The earlier challenges of Chas Mostert and Garth Tander for BMW and Audi respectively ended with damage, both entries having led parts of the race. The race effectively ended with a multi-car accident on the run to McPhillamy Park with 20 minutes remaining. Ash Walsh got caught up with Bryce Fullwood's Mark Focus, with his Audi left strewn across the circuit and then collected by John Martin in the Mercedes he shared with David Reynolds. All three drivers got out of their vehicles, Walsh taken to Orange Hospital for further checks, with a brief safety car period followed by a race suspension and ultimately declaration with 4 minutes to go. When the race was neutralized, Whincup had been closing on Frains, as the top four cars all looked to save fuel to make it home without stopping. Frains' lead had hovered around 4 seconds in the final hour, and was chipped away at by Whincup down to 3 and then 2. It means Audi won the race for the third time and first since 2012, while Whincup had to settle for second to go with the victory he claimed in a Ferrari 12 months ago. The Scott Taylor Motorsport-run Mercedes only started the day in 15th, and Whincup then jumped in the car for the first time after owner Kenny Harbaugh's stint in the 4th hour in 16th place. He carved his way up to second during his stint, then hopped back in for the run home. After Vautier and Marcello stayed at the sharp end of the order, "We couldn't be happier," Whincup said. "We certainly maximized. I'm a big believer of the team that does the best job should win. These boys, WRT, did a fantastic job, so they deserve to win. We were tight on fuel as well, but what's Bathurst without a fuel race? We were hanging in there.
We got lucky, thanks to Kenny and the guys from STM. What a great weekend." Porsches filled the next 4 places, led by the
Pro and Class Supercars Enduro regulars Matt Campbell and Alex Davison were in the competition. Motorsports 911 GT3R that finished 4th, 1 spot ahead of Shane van Gisbergen's 2018 Triple Eight partner Earl Bamber. Earlier in the day, Mostert and Tander's entries looked set to challenge for significant silverware. Mostert led the first quarter in the Schnitzer Motorsport BMW. He qualified on pole, after getting as much as 40 seconds clear during Mostert's commanding opening stint. The car lost track position with a drive-through penalty incurred at a restart by Marco Wittmann. Higher ambient temperatures also hurt its straight-line speed, but Mostert had cut his way from 10th through to 5th across the 9th and 10th hours.
Its efforts ended when Mostert got tangled up with the
2.5 hours left. "I'm 100% gutted to have crashed the car when we were in such a good position," Mostert said. "It's one of those things that's hard to take. We had a fast car all weekend. I thought if I could clear a couple of cars I'd be on my way, but it didn't work. I took a risky option. I tried to take advantage of some lapped cars, and there just wasn't enough room for 3 cars. It was an aggressive approach, and it didn't stick." The Audi featuring Tander had been second for a big chunk of the race, including at the halfway mark, but its challenge came to an end approaching the 8-hour mark. Kelvin van der Linde was running right with teammate Marcus Winkelhock, but tried to go around the outside of a marked car exiting the S's, drifted wide and tagged a wall. The South African limped the car back to pit lane, but what he admitted was, Bathurst inexperience required repairs that cost the car 29 laps, and meant it finished 30th. "We were looking really strong. The car was flawless the whole day," van der Linde said. "Through Skyline there was some traffic ahead. I went offline to try to overtake him and there was no grip. It was a bit silly, but I can't change it now." Whincup Audi later crawled to a halt at the cutting with a left rear drive shaft failure while leading Frains with 100 minutes to go. 6th place went to the Stracker Racing Mercedes that featured Cameron Waters on his GT racing debut. Waters led during the 6th and 7th hours, and then David Fuminelli in the 10th, with Lewis Williamson bringing it home. YNA Autosports McLaren's dominated pre-event discussions, but the campaign also amounted to little. Scott McLaughlin crossed the line 11th outright in the Pro-Am 650S. He shared with Fraser Ross, Andrew Watson and Alexander West. The entry lost 2 laps early through radio communication issues during Watson's first stint, which they were ultimately unable to recover from. It did, though, fare better than the pro entry of Shane Van Gisbergen, Craig Lowndes and Kumle Aga, which succumbed to overheating issues approaching the halfway point of the race. The objective McLaren of Tim Slade, Warren Luff, Jackson Evans and Tony Walls started the day 24th, but raced well and even led in the morning. It essentially remained in the top 10 thereafter, with Luff running on the lead lap and in 7th. Before a failed starter motor accounted for the car at a pit stop with 40 minutes to go. The second WRT Audi in the Pro-Am class, Will Davison, raced alongside Pedro Lamy. Matthias Lauda and car owner Paul Dalla Lana ended the day 13th outright. Class 1 was won by the Mustang-bodied Mark II led by Dunlop. Super 2 Series driver Will Brown, in 18th in the overall order. Honours in Class C went to the BMW M4 driven by two-time Bathurst 1000 winner Tony Longhurst and third-generation races Matt Brabham and Aaron Seaton. Before Martin's crashed the AMG GT3 he shared with Reynolds, car owner Mark Griffith and Liam Talbot had been relatively quiet, running in 15th place. Rebuilt overnight after a qualifying crash, Lee Holdsworth's Audi was one of the first out of the race. Mark Cini fed into the wall at Reed Park as he slowed for an accident ahead on lap 42.